Welcome, Wargamers. Join your hosts, Balco and Monty, two Canadian wargaming enthusiasts, as we explore all aspects of tabletop wargaming. We roll dice, talk tactics, share hobby hacks, and explore new tabletop systems, all on the Trident Wargaming Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back. Trident Wargaming. We've got another Horus Heresy episode for you guys. This one we had the chance to start digesting some of the videos and little walkthroughs that have been posted. GMG posted a rulebook review and then Let's Play demo game that they ended up having kind of like a 2-on-1, 1,000 points aside. And a few other little spicy tidbits have been coming out from Warhammer community, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. I'm joined again with my co-host Andy.
Hey guys.
And then with our battle bro Dan.
Yo.
So yeah, we're jumping in again. I guess just Fast and Furious. So far, Legion wise, it's been revealed by Warhammer community. Which Legion do you think is getting some of the best rules? And not terms in so much like game really, just overall, like what Legion's coming out on top, you think?
Not my White Scars. I'll tell you that. So, I know they kind of just had a little bit of a lackluster kind of for the rules, in my opinion.
Well, they lost the biggest catch, right? They don't ignore dangerous terrain anymore. Mm-hmm. It's just like an invuln save now.
Yeah, and then with some of the leaks, I mean, some of the leaks that we've seen too, I think their saves aren't as good anymore for their bikes and stuff. So, but as to what's looking good, Ultramarines are looking pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, today they came out. This is when we're recording it. Is the day that it dropped, and our little group chat was on fire about like ideas and like what the possibilities are. And I've never seen that with Ultramarines, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is that Logos Lectora Rite of War that they dropped today. I know that kind of sparked a lot of conversation in the chat, like they were saying, and I don't know, man. Like tactically, I think this right makes it like seriously one of the best like legions that you can really start to roll with, especially after watching that demo game and the way a lot of the interactions, and the reactions have been going in game. It's wild. Like I'm pretty impressed with their loadout. So.
Yeah, they kind of kept like the same ideas from the previous edition for like the Logos Lectora, but you can obviously see this is very similar to probably what some of the 40k stuff is for the Space Marines. But even just looking at some of these commands that they get, I do like the fact that you cannot use the same one twice in a row. Right, so it forces you to change your hand and also forces you to really think of your next step, right? Kind of like pool, right? You're trying to set up your next shot kind of thing. But I mean, full march, hold fast, retribution, strike, and even regroup are they're pretty good.
Yeah,
you know, you're getting some extra points into movement, your movement characteristic. And then you're reducing, your ballistic skill and weapon skill by 1 for like full march. And then hold fast. It's different. It's neat. You increase your leadership, but then the part that I like is the reroll and involve failed to hit rolls during a shooting attack. Right. So I mean, I'm sure there's some combos there with that one, setting up for maybe setting up for a charge or something. Then it happens, right? So you're getting that +1 anyways.
Yeah.
And re-rolling all failed hit rolls during a shooting attack, I believe. is their main one for that, but you can't move around in the movement phase.
So I brought this question up in the group chat. So it says that the right only works for Legion Astartes, Ultramarines, and infantry. So if you had a unit in a tank, could that tank still move and then them not worry about it? So say like a Spartan full of 10 Terminators with lightning claws or whatever going up the board, and then you having heavy support shooting, standing still, right? Like, so I don't know if there needs to be an FAQ, because I think there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to pop up with that, because it does say that that they're not that they get all these bonuses to shooting, but they can't move. So does that mean everything, or just them when they're standing on the ground? Because drop pods are going to come in maybe the same turn that you activated. So are they allowed to get out of the drop pod?
Yeah, it's kind of there's kind of a little bit of a gray spot with that. I remember even just rereading it. Yeah, Legion Astartes Ultramarine special rule and the infantry unit type. So it's interesting.
All models in the army with both Legion Astartes Ultramarine special rule and the infantry type.
So I mean, obviously the tanks can move, but I'm just wondering about the guys if they get into a tank. Yeah. Does the tank automatically just? So I want to know what rule supersedes what, right? That's I may be thinking too much.
Well, I think there's probably a thing with units embarked in a vehicle, right? Like I don't think it can prevent the vehicle from moving even though they're inside it. So
yeah,
they just wouldn't be able to deploy, I guess. I don't know.
If they don't specifically FAQ it, I could see it becoming an argument in say tournaments or whatever, right? So yeah, I mean with your friends it's whatever, right?
Yeah, it kind of depends, I guess, on how it's being played. Yeah, and interpreted too. My favorite thing out of all this Logos Lectora commands is the Retribution Strike, though. I think this rule alone would be like you'll be using this every other turn, and you're gonna fuck harder than World Eaters are, because it's crazy, man. Like it's wild. All models with the unit type, the infantry unit type, and the Legion Astartes special rule must increase their weapon skill characteristic by 1 and gain an additional bonus of +1 to any charge rolls they make, but must reduce their ballistic skill by 1. That's fine. Whatever. Who cares? Chain bayonets for everybody. You're rocking weapon skill 5, which now in 2.0 is going to be
awesome.
Like that's the new hot. That's as spicy as it gets. And I want to talk about that in a little bit more. But now you're rocking and comboing it up with the chain bayonet, which if you're not running chain bayonets on your Marines, you're running your Marines wrong. +1 strength and shred.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
impressive.
Auto wounds, man. It's auto wounds. It's just insane. It's insane. So weapon skill 5, strength 5 on your Marines, just rolling into combat, rushing in. It's gonna be.
You're gonna see a lot. You're gonna. Everybody's gonna do it.
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed, everybody's gonna do it. Right?
We were just talking about it today. Like, yeah, I need to find all my chainsword bits.
Yeah. But like it now, like compared to previous edition, you know, where like not even half the players would equip like an additional chainsword.
Yeah.
Which obviously didn't do what these chain blades are going to be doing, but your Marines are now like a whole other kit. Like they're a whole other unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not that expendable unit anymore because you need them for scoring and stuff, right? But they can deal some damage in close combat just with those chain blades, and then put in these reactions and whatnot throughout the game, and it's quite a different. It's a different look into a tactical Marine now, right? And like we said before, you're going to see a lot more boots on the ground for sure in this game.
Well, you better, because tactical Marines are like the only thing that scores in the game.
Yeah.
But what you can do, honestly, get in a fight with the Ultramarines. If you lose, regroup.
Yeah,
get back in there, fight again. Like,
It's true. It's true.
pretty much.
or march, right? Like then you get that extra bonus to your movement. Now you're charging 1+, right? Stuff like that. So, yeah, I it's funny because I think you just baited us to talk about Ultramarines, because you were asking, oh, what legion do you think is getting, the best?
The
And
best, yeah.
we've just all been talking about Ultramarines all day. So
It's funny how that worked. It's funny, yes. Just looking at the full march too, I guess technically because your Marines are going to be a standard movement of 7 inches now. If you have a movement characteristic of 9, that would be you getting +1 to charge.
well, how much do they get for movement extra?
Well, you get +2.
Oh, you get +2 with the full march.
Yeah, so
So
base
they're
movement 9,
So
and I think
so
8 to
they
10 gets +1 to its charge range.
So I would say that you'd get +1.
Yeah,
so
so
you're
it's-
potentially
8 to 10 is +1.
you're
Yeah.
getting a 3-inch extra to your charge.
That's pretty sick,
You're-
man.
Your 2-inch movement, then your 1-inch bonus. But yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, you're gonna seesaw between Retribution Strike and Full March. You're just gonna kick the shit out of something and then just full march towards it and charge it again. And yeah, that's legit. I really like this rule. I know for a while there's a lot of talk about Imperial Fists being crazy or broken or OP, and I don't know. They seem good. The +1 ballistic skill for bolters and auto weapons is pretty legit. I think a lot of guys were getting hung up on this, on the reaction about, in the movement phase being able to do a counter charge, which it's great. It's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. There's more to it than just running in and charging. And I like this flexibility that the Ultramarines seem to have. It's very cool.
Yeah, and if you're done charging or whatever, and you have tactical Marines, they have bolters. So if you're like, fuck, I got to stand us on this objective, then you can switch the doctrine to the shooting one, and then you can go, oh fuck, I'm gonna shoot you now, right? Like,
Yeah.
So that's the flexibility. It's not so much being like, oh, I know that you're focused on assaulting in your conversation, but it's the ability to switch and then go, okay, I need to stand here now. I
Yeah.
can't just run forward anymore. I'm gonna stand and shoot. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're getting all these bonuses plus their Legion rule. So now you're getting like reroll 1/1s. So you're basically hitting it every time.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't even talk. It's the strength of wisdom.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we're
yeah,
only to hit for a model to special rule as part of a shooting attack. Add +1 to the result of the roll if the enemy unit was targeted by an attack that has already been the target of another friendly unit. Composed entirely of the models with this special rule in the same shooting phase. It sounds like a lot of shit, but it's not.
It's I think it's pretty much this unit shoots and your unit that's pretty much beside you shoots that same target,
Yeah.
and you're going to get this bonus, right?
Do you
And
think?
Sorry.
No, I
Go
was
ahead.
saying. Do you think this is going to be mostly an infantry-based thing? I know we were talking about rolling up rhinos pot shotting, and then the squad just unleashing. But this almost sounds like I almost want to predict it'll be just straight up for either line units or like your blobs of infantry.
Well, I mean, you could do whatever,
Bonusing.
right? You can literally do drop pods or rhinos or whatever, because it literally just says Legion Astartes. It doesn't say anything about vehicles. I know some of the rights were like vehicles get this, infantry get that. This literally just says Legion Astartes. Well, all vehicles now have Legion Astartes rule, so legions or vehicles will have this rule now.
It could be awesome.
So you could literally do it on a Spartan. You could have your what you call it, your Terminator shoot, and then your Spartan shoot that same unit and reroll 1s. So unless it specifically says infantry somewhere and I misread it I don't know. But I was talking to Darren, our buddy of ours who plays Ultramarines, and he was like, oh, it kind of sucks that you can't shoot across the table now and get bonuses for shooting for the Ultramarine, right?
That's kind of before,
rule.
right?
Yeah, because you had heavy bolters on all your rhinos, just the pot shot things across the table.
Yeah.
But I was like, I think it's more of a mob mentality now. So it's you and a gang of guys are just gonna go fuck up this unit, right? One guy's like, oh, there he is, get him, guy to the left.
It's kind of a concentrated fire.
Yeah, concentrated fire. That's probably better.
Concentrated fire on a priority target. That's pretty much, in close proximity to both units, right? Like, sure. I mean, if I got two heavy weapon squads together, if I have missiles and las cannons on the other side, kind of thing, targeting one thing, well, that's going to be a big effect, right? Like, that's a huge effect for just shooting in general, right?
Because you could also just have this is just an idea, have thud guns like in the back, and then have a heavy support squad or your shooting thing like a Sakaran or whatever, have it close to your thud gun, have your thud gun shoot its blast template. All it says is hit, right?
No,
it doesn't
it doesn't count.
This doesn't affect blast barrage.
I guess, that threw my idea out.
Yeah.
But still,
they knew you were coming up with that shit already.
I don't know. The hamster wheel is fucking
spinning.
Spinning.
Oh, I think
Ultramarines, and I'm already coming up with ideas.
I was gonna say. So, which one of you guys is gonna switch over here real quick? Do you want me to roll? Do you want me to roll the banners down, Dan, or what?
Oh man, awesome!
If he starts texting me and said, "You got any Ultramarine bits?" I'm letting you know first that you got another Ultramarine player coming.
It'll be subtle, and it'll be like, "Hey man, I gotta meet you about something."
Well, I already got Brady coming at me, so
yeah. He sent me some an Alpha Legion leak of the Exodus, and he was like, check this out, and I was like, he's already turned from the light. I can tell.
Already turned from the light. That's funny.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. What did I call? 7-layer dip. Ultramarines are a 7-layer dip because you got their rights, you have their Legion rule, now you have reactions, and then you get Warlord traits, which usually kind of affect reactions, and it's just all these combinations of things, and I was just like, holy crap.
No.
And it's good. Yeah, it's good to see this.
It's a really nice, refreshing change. I guess let's kind of talk about that demo game, because there was a lot of stuff to unpack from that.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the demo game, bullshit. If you haven't seen the demo game, we've got a link in the description. Check them out. It goes right to the YouTube. It's the Let's Play GMG Horus Heresy game. Again, like we were saying, it's 1,000 points on each side. The one guy, he's rocking Raven Guard against Iron Warrior with a combined, pretty much allied detachment of Death Guard. I would have liked to see almost some more, I don't know, more synergy between the two forces, like Iron Warriors and World Eaters would have been cool, or just more of a likely matchup. I guess Siege of Terra wise and stuff, they were all together too. So
yeah, I think he was talking
really
about doing Istvan campaign stuff.
And I think it was just pretty much using kind of like the models from the box set. And even comparable to like the other armored, the Space Marines had, right? Like the MK3 and whatnot. So, but he obviously kept the forces around or roughly the same. So
they play this game. They go through the missions. I know we talked about a little bit ago. They have a little bit of a tweak. They ended up playing Blood Feud, and they've tweaked, the scoring a decent amount, which is nice. But those reactions in that game were starting to kind of like blow my mind. Here, as I'm watching this game unfold, I'm starting to think of like, well, shit, like I need to take units to screen. I need to take things to kind of have that like bait and switch for combat. It's just wild. The shrouding, like being able to shrug off all these attacks. It was just it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, there was no negative to it either.
No,
they were just like, I'm gonna evade, and then it was just like, okay, now I get like a feel no pain or whatever it is. You get a 5+ roll, and you just ignore that wound. And then I was waiting for them to go, oh, okay, now I got to stand back up. And no, that's not how it works. It's literally, I get a roll to save my guys that you just shot at. And I was just like, holy fuck. Like,
it's evade and you get the shrouded special roll, pretty much is what it is, right? So,
which is wild. And that's just one of the shooting reactions that you can use.
Oh, the other one's even better, I think. Because the reaction is you get to shoot back at them.
Shoot back. And it's simultaneously too, right?
So it's not even models lost. It's all the models that they're at that current time before you take away models. Yeah. So if you have a 10-man squad of last cannons, he references this in his video. You have a 10-man last cannon. Usually they got shot off the table first turn, right? Yeah. But now, if you have like thud guns or a siege just even siege tyrants. Yeah. Shooting their, 20 goddamn missiles.
You don't want to shoot at that last cannon squad, man.
No, now you don't, because now you're gonna get 10 last cannons to the face, right? Yeah. Like
it's interesting. Like, now that you've got a finite amount of points too, right? Like these reaction points, you have one. If you take warlords and whatnot, you can bump it up to 2. I'm sure rights are gonna let you have a bonus of like up to 3, but it's still a finite resource, just like command points in 40k. You're gonna see the slow bleed of guys using the tactics and really trying to pick their brain, or you're gonna see armies change to where there's not like, ooh, those 2 units in the back, those are the ones I'm afraid of. No, man, you got to be afraid of all 10 units on the table, because every unit's gonna be able to deal damage, and you're gonna bait that guy using his reaction. So when you can fire that 10-man last cannon squad, he doesn't have the points to fire back. Like, that squad's going to be like just killing everything, and I'm looking forward to that part. I think that level of tactics to the game itself is going to be super, super cool. Very refreshing. And I know there was a little bit of a worry about some guys were kind of, the reactions, there's going to be gotcha moments and this and that. There's gotcha moments every time a book drops. It doesn't matter if it's a codex in 40k or if it's a black book from Heresy. It really didn't matter, right? The guy's like, hey, I got Lionel Johnson. Check it out. He gets a 8-inch for free charge no matter what. You're like, what the?
And you fight last for 2 turns.
Yeah. Oh, and he's got stasis. Oh, and he's crushing you wounding you on 3s, and you can't hit him better than this. And you're like, holy shit, man! Like, there's gotcha moments everywhere. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I think after this a little bit, everyone will learn these core reactions. Yeah, I think you're gonna get more coming later that are very specific to each legion, but you play 3 games, you'll probably know all the gotcha moments, right? And now there is no gotcha moments. It's how are you going to actually outthink and outwit your opponent to use these reactions to the fullest.
So I was thinking the closest thing to come to this for the last edition, like 6th and 7th, was when you had when you were charging one unit, and you had, say, like 3 Terminators, and then the other squad was 10 Terminators, but one was closer than the other, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna just throw the 3 guys at you, and it's like, are you gonna Overwatch? And you're like, no, that he's like, they're 8 inches away, so I'm not worried. And then all of a sudden you roll that 9-inch charge, and you wasted that thing. That was the closest to a gotcha moment or strategy in the old one. Now it's a lot different. Now it's any unit, and it's at all different times. And
in each phase,
in each phase you get one. So I mean, like, there was like in the video, the guy had his Spartan, and he was just like, well, I'm going to get charged. So now your Spartan's not sitting out in the open. Your Spartan can be like, well, I'm going to back up. Well, he moves 12 inches.
I think it's
yeah. So you don't get those moments where you're like, fuck, I just put my tank out into the open. Now I'm going to get shot at, or I'm going to get charged and feel dumb the whole, for the rest of the game. Now you can be like, oh, light bulb, I'm going to move him back into cover.
Well, right? And it's a way to bait your opponent too, because the guys who fails their charge, they still have to move half the distance.
Yeah.
So now you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna bait you where you're
Pull
gonna
you out of
still
cover,
want.
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get pulled out of cover. You're gonna get brought into the open. Now it's gonna be my turn. I'm not gonna run up within 12 inches of you. Oh, I don't want to get my hands dirty. I just want to shoot the shit out of you while you're exposed. It's really legit. Also, in the video when he's getting charged, he spends a point for like an actual Overwatch reaction, and he's firing at ballistic skill.
Full.
Yeah, I was
Full.
going to bring that up. I was going
Full.
to bring that up. There's another thing. There's another thing too with something I've seen, but I'll talk about that later as well. But yeah,
Like,
there was no snaps. Right?
That was crazy. He's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna rapid fire as you charge me. I was like, oh my goodness, and like he's actually hitting.
Ultramarines Overwatching.
Yeah,
with their
right
of war and
get
stuff.
it if they don't move, yeah.
Because it's whatever their thing is, whatever they pick, their Logos Loctara, whatever they pick is active until the start of their next turn.
There you go.
So if you're overwatching and you're getting that +1 to hit or whatever, you're hitting on 2s instead, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, there's a couple different things that they can do. So, Ultramarines #1.
Do we know what Fury of the Legion, does it have to do only in the shooting phase? Because I was thinking if you Overwatch and you're standing still, new Fury?
Did you see Fury of the Legion in that at all?
The leak? Yeah.
Oh, you did
in the leak, not in the demo video.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no. There is. Okay. So I found it in the leak. If a model with the special rule has not moved or run during the movement phase in its controlling player's turn. Okay. So I was just trying to like game it and try and get extra shots.
Just trying to crank it up to 11.
Just trying to game it.
Well, if you're standing,
you heard it here first, everybody.
If you're standing there, you're not moving, right? Right?
Yeah.
Technically, this is the whole what you call it, shooting first. The Archist shooting first.
Oh.
Technically, you didn't move, right?
Yeah. You
didn't even get a chance to move it.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. So to expand on this, Dan's talking about the Archist Sikaran, where it had ripple fire. And in your opponent's movement phase, it's got interceptors, so you're dropping down in front of it. Can it fire 4 shots or only 8? Because technically it hasn't had a movement phase to stand still. And I think we ended up house ruling it where it's only 4 because it sounded way too fucking greasy to do it any other way, right? But these things come up, and it doesn't matter what player you are, it'll come up at some point. It's just it's gonna be there, so yeah. But what's so wild is, these reactions honestly have changed just the whole way I'm thinking of lists, and I'm really liking that feel. I like how fresh and like new it's gonna feel. It's just gonna be crazy.
Well, it's like we said before in one of the other podcasts that these reactions are going to they're going to change the game. And you can already see it in that demo, right? And the guys are hooting and hollering, of course, in that game and with the reactions. But I mean, I don't think you can react on a reaction.
No,
right?
I don't think you can.
So
it's in your player's turn, yeah.
Exactly. So, but like, I mean, you got advance, withdraw, return fire, evade, and then you got the assault ones, which is Overwatch and hold the line, right? So. Yeah. And then on top of that, you'll have the Legion specific ones. You'll get, I believe, some of them have like Warlord traits or something. Like
the Warlord traits just some of them allow you to do more reactions in a phase.
Yeah.
So there's defensive and shooting ones and assault ones and.
But isn't there like Legion specific ones too?
Oh yeah, the Legion specific.
I thought like the World Eaters had something like that from one of the leaks where
there will be. That's the thing. I think in those Liber Astartes books, they're gonna have all the different goodies in there. Was it the Savage Tide World Eaters advanced reaction? Maybe made once per battle during the opposing player's shooting phase when an enemy unit declares a shooting attack, targeting a friendly unit with the infantry unit type under the reactive player's control. All models in reacting unit gain feel no pain 5+ against all wounds inflicted as part of the shooting attack. If it already has feel no pain, it gets a better feel no pain, blah, blah, blah. Once the shooting attack has been completely resolved, the reacting unit may make a charge, following all the normal rules for charging, targeting the enemy that made the shooting attack. The enemy may not make a reaction to this charge. So you're rolling up, you're about to shoot, and let's be real, like if you're silly enough to get within 12 inches, I think you deserve to get charged, right? Like
so
Drop on.
what you do is take a warlord, because it says you get 2. So depending on your warlord trait, the ones say that you can use 2 reactions in that phase, right? So if you take an assault warlord trait that gives you 2 reactions, so you could have a unit get shot by you shoot this 20-man squad with chain axes or whatever. You could technically, from what I understand, is you could advance forward, and then you can charge in their turn.
Gross. Just gross.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, you have to survive, but yeah.
Advance in the movement phase.
Oh yeah. Sorry, you wouldn't have to need the double assault, but yeah.
Advance in the movement phase, and then you would use that advanced.
Assault in his shooting phase.
Yeah. Or you just drop a big Charybdis with 20 berserkers down on him, and then when he shoots you on his turn, you charge him with that reaction.
Oh, there you go, Andy. Put him right in your face, right? He can't do nothing. It's like, well, shoot me.
That's exactly it. He's going to
shoot me.
Yeah, you don't want to shoot him.
No, you don't. But you're probably going to be forced to shoot him, or it's another bait where it's like the guy's probably going to shoot him because he's like, oh, they're in my lines. They're in close combat, or they're going to be in close combat next turn, right?
Well, and Violence Incarnate, on any turn in which the unit with the special rule makes a successful charge, gains +1 attack for remainder of that turn, in addition to any other bonuses, even if that charge is considered a disordered charge. So another thing in this video, guy's getting charged, and he's like, okay, I'm going to hold the line. That's one of his reactions. He makes a morale test, just leadership. 8 or under. Well, now all the units that were charging him, it was the Praetor Terminators, they count as distorted. They don't get a +1 for charging. And I was like, holy man, like this is awesome. Like it's just so good. So good.
And well, the world leaders just ignore that, right?
They ignore that completely. I keep getting drawn to the Ultramarines, right, with this Retribution Strike. It's just like disordered charge. I'm going to be +1 weapon skills. You're going to be hitting me on 5s unless you're rocking out something with weapon skill 5. And again, wounding the other squad of Marines typically on 3s with shred is just, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of little combos already clicking in.
The combat I noticed though, like with this new weapon skill chart.
Oh yeah,
like the Contemptor Dreadnought alone, he's fighting a bunch of these Terminators and a Praetor, and that thing is holding out. It's awesome. Although the Praetor is trying to like Paragon Blade to instant kill him. And he keeps trying to roll those, Murder Strike, and I was like, oh shit, I kind of forgot about that, because you're not used to Dreadnoughts getting felled by one chop, right?
Well, it doesn't instant kill, it just does D3, but if you get like 4 6s, then you're rolling 43. So.
And did I don't know if I heard it right or not, the Power Fists, are they harder to hit with?
Oh, no, what he's talking about, so what he's talking about is weapon skill.
Yeah.
So a sergeant with, the Sergeant Terminator had a Power Fist.
Yeah.
Well, basic Terminators are weapon skill 3.
4.
Contemptors are, weapon skill 4.
Yeah.
Contemptors are weapon skill 5. So this is kind of what Bill was talking about. So they changed it. So so in the old rules,
not the 4. It's not a 4 now. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the old rules it was like you couldn't do worse than a 4, but now they changed it. So if you're lower than the weapon skill of the defender, you're hitting 1 less. You could hit up to a 6+. Right?
Yes.
probably like Primarchs.
And then the reverse, right?
Yeah, reverse the other way.
Where you can get to like a 2+ to hit.
2+, yeah.
Which
So these Contemptors they're getting less hits, or sorry, people are hitting them less.
Yeah, it's a big quality of life boost, just in terms of getting hit less, being T7, 7 wounds. You're not a slouch. Like, essentially, this monstrous creature that's going to wade into a squad of Marines with impunity, man. Like, I wouldn't be afraid of Marines at all. Like, obviously, okay, there's other things that are going to take place. I'm kind of curious if Melta Bombs are going to have, like, the brutal special rule or not, where it can do multiple damage.
It might have something on their own. I don't know.
I know looking at that one picture Brady sent me earlier today, it's the Exodus and it has some stuff on it, but it's just it's got given the brutal 2 special rule, so I don't know if every wound counts as 2, which makes sense if that's the case. So who knows, maybe Melta Bombs against dreadnoughts and Manta and vehicles do like brutal 3 or more wounds, right? That'd be kind of a neat mechanic to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about a Contemptor dreadnought. I can just imagine some of the Mechanicum units when they start popping up on
Leviathan, man, rolling in like.
Oh, that too, yeah.
That thing's gonna be nasty.
T8.
Yeah.
2+ armor.
I'm hoping for T8, 8 wounds, 2+ armor.
Probably
4+ invulnerable. Just a monster. Because
Yeah, there's a lot of different things. I mean, with like stat lines and whatnot too, right? Like obviously the movement stat line is different. Each unit will have their own stat line for that. But I noticed when they were in close combat and they're fighting, and the one guy lost his sergeant to a duel against, I think it was the Praetor with the power sword. Chopped him in half, but he lost the sergeant. His Marines were down to leadership 7.
Yeah,
and he lost combat by 1, and he was at 6, and it's like, that's not Marine stats. Like, that's Guardsman stats. Like, that was one thing I noticed, was that the stat line for that. And then the other thing too, Terminator's consolidating. I noticed that.
Yeah.
Right? Because consolidation is your initiative movement, right?
Yeah. Because you had Cataphracti. I think Terminator armor, I think it's just changed to whatever the save profile is. And then I think they have a rule where they're stubborn. And I think that's about it, other than Cataphracti getting the heavy keyword, which from the show, it literally talks about re-rolling blasts and not being able to run and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a pseudo hardened armor now.
Yeah.
So.
But it's kind of a USR now that they're giving to any unit rather than having 5 different armors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is very cool. I did really like seeing that. The advance, just adding your movement plus your initiative. So your squads are moving up to a full, Marine squads are just going up 11 inches, which was pretty sweet. With the leadership being changed to 7 and then 8 with sergeants, that's 40k stats, man. That's what they're running in 40k. So it's cool that they've taken a few little tidbits here and there from the other systems, because I really like the way this is starting to look. It's starting to feel tactical. It's fun. I think, yes, as these actual index or codex books come out for each legion and you start to get a little bit more layered fluff and layered rules, I think there will be more more reactions. Even if you got 6 more plus the core ones, pretty legit. There's potential. Like, I'd love to see card sets for it so you could be whipping through, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Yeah, that's true. Buy some sweet dice, some cards, some data slates, right? Data cards. I really like the way things seem like they're going, especially with that kind of withdraw reaction. I know we were talking about it, Dan and I, about Guy's gonna line up this crazy charge, and you've been saving it just for the end, and you just I'm out of combat. Like, I just love that because I know it's gonna come up. I know it's gonna be one of those things like you're gonna do it, and you're like, I don't know, declare a charge and find out. Fuck around and find out.
You're gonna get in a situation where you have a Primarch that's got one wound left, and he's got left to do is charge that one guy, that one Primarch, and try to get price of failure, right? Just to squeak out a win, and you're gonna be like, "Fuck you, I'm backing the fuck off," and you could try and get a charge off,
It's the ace in the hole. If you guys have ever seen that Maverick movie at the end with I think it's Mel Gibson, and he's holding this and he's like closes his eyes, he got the death ace and he wins the game at the end, and he's all cheering, he wins the big cash. That's what it's gonna be like, knowing that you have that point and you're just there holding it so tight, and the guy's like, okay, I'm gonna charge you. Like, oh, I knew you would. And you're like, I'm gonna withdraw, man. And they're like, no, god damn it. It's too good. It's too good.
The Yu-Gi-Oh! I activate my trap card. Yeah.
That term trap card's been coming up actually a little bit. I know Outer Circle did a bit on the reactions and the thoughts on it. I listened to it. Interesting take for sure. I think because it's so different in the way the reactions are going to be interacting in the game, at least the first couple weeks. Yeah, there's going to be some like, what, you can do that? Oh man, like, but that's all part of learning. Like, I'd rather fumble my way through the rules as quickly as you can. I suspect it's going to be the main box, and then maybe a week later, those Liber Astartes books will come out. So everyone's going to be playing generic everything. Yeah, but I think that's a really good way to learn.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if that's why they're slowly leaking out Legion rules, is so you could just play with the box set and just play with those Legion rules until the book, say it comes out in a week or 2 months from now.
Yeah.
So you could literally just play with your Legion rules until then.
That would be nice. It'd be sweet if they did that.
And you're correct. A lot of guys that I've seen online are having the skies falling reaction to like reactions. The game's destroyed now because you implemented something that was completely strange, but
something that makes two people engage with each other. What the hell?
Yeah. And then after watching like his review and watching the game, I'm completely sold. I was totally like, oh yeah, whatever, I'll just learn it when the game happens. I barely knew anything about reactions. I couldn't care until I had the book in my hand. But after, and he barely explains it, but watching a game with it actually happening made more sense than reading it and being told it. And I was just like, holy crap. I was just like, this is going to make the game fun. And he explains in his little blurb, he only talks about reactions for like 3 minutes, but he says what it does is, like you were saying, Bill, and what he said, it engages both of you guys. So, because we've all played games and we've all been there where we've been like, hey, it's your turn. I'm just going to go take a shit and you can do whatever. Just tell me what happens at the end, right? And it's just, and then your opponent comes back and you'd be like, hey, half your army's dead. And then the one guy's like, hey, I'm just going to go get a sandwich. Just fucking finish the game for me. Right? Like,
well, it turns it into kind of like that card game, right? Where like, Magic the Gathering, for example, like you're playing and the other guy's waiting to counter your spell, kind of like you're interacting, right? Like you're saying.
And I think that's what the game's lacking right now. Like Heresy specifically, is that 2-person interaction of, it's not just movement phase and then like kill you phase, and that's it. There is a little bit of give and take. I do like 40k because of that as well. Those strats, there's strats for every part of the game, right? There's strats you can use for movement, shooting, assault, and again, they've taken that little tiny piece and they've added it into here, but they're not changing everything. They're not destroying the game. They're just making it a little bit more tactical. And I can see some people who aren't 100% sold or who just think it's just too much. I could see just, guys who want to play a little bit more relaxed game. Just, hey, you know what? We're just not going to use it. That's fine. I personally think they should be in the game because they're going to be awesome, but you don't have to use them.
Well, that happened with Titanicus. When
Yeah.
we started Titanicus, we didn't even use any of the stratagems, right? Like
No,
we
it's
literally were just literally playing bare bones, just whatever our Legio rules were. And then as soon as we
Yeah.
incorporated them, it took the game to the next level.
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden we were building lists around those strats.
Yeah, I'm about to get warp displaced through a building and charged by a Volpa fucking Warhound.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's happening.
You know, like
Pretty much.
it wouldn't have, and I built my whole army around those strats, right? Like it
Mhm.
wasn't. I probably wouldn't have gone the route if I didn't use those, and I think
That's
that's
true.
what. And you were saying this earlier that people are going to start building armies around reactions.
Oh,
Yes.
I guarantee it's going to happen. And why wouldn't you though? You're building an army to maximize the way that, let's not mince words, the way that you can fuck with your opponent.
Yeah.
I want to make you make the harder choices, because no matter what choice you're going to make, I'm sitting on three reaction points, man. I got points to spend and cut you off at wherever you're trying to gain a little bit of traction. And now it's like, oh, cool. Now it's my turn, and you've only got 1 point or 2 points, and I've got enough bait and switch units or screens. Like, I'm going to really make you work for this, right? And I don't know. I love that. It just sounds it's going to be great.
I think right off the bat here, I think people might get that idea of that it's going to be very, like you said, gotcha moment kind of thing, right? Like right in the beginning. Well, I mean, in the beginning, we haven't seen this stuff in 30K, right? We haven't seen these reactions ever in 30K because it hasn't been around, right? So once people start actually playing with it and seeing how it works and get the core mechanics of the reactions happening, I think people will start to maybe change their idea on it, right? Like if you're going in, hardcore old HH player, and you're having a good time because of these reactions, you're probably gonna, change your mind pretty quick about them, right? So that's just my opinion. But it looks fun. It looks like they had tons of fun in the game.
Mm-hmm.
They're
right?
hooting and hollering.
I mean, like if that happens in a tabletop war game that you're playing, hell yeah, bring it in, do it, do it up.
I think that nails it right there. Is if you're having a good time like these guys are in that demo game, that's what you want to encapsulate within the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Is you're enjoying the painting, the building, but it's that social contract of rolling dice with fellow hobbyists and players and having that laugh and those moments of like, oh god, like you're about to lose a character or something, right? Like, oh shit, but
there's gonna be so much of that.
Yeah,
there's so much of that. I can't wait to see the lists and stuff that Dan comes up with, because he's just going to be going hard on this, right? Like,
oh, it's going to be great.
Once those 2 books come out, I'll just stay in my room and just read, and Jesse be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Homework. Leave me alone."
Has anybody seen Dan?
Yeah,
he's been grabbed by the warp.
Take a week off work and just read
there you go.
Tell Molly I'm going to work, but just drive to the park and read my books for the day.
Well, it's coming.
Gonna bring his head,
right? So I was just thinking, when we were talking about reactions there, I think you can. This is also a way for you to add flavor and fluff to a certain type of army that you like. So if you like, say, Alpha Legion or Raven Guard, you could specifically use the ones where you're walking away or evading, right? So, if you get shot, you can just, instead of shooting, or you can duck, right? Or if someone comes close to you, move away. Or if you're, like your Iron Hands or your Death Guard or, your Salamanders, and you get shot and you're like, ha ha, fucker, I'm just going to walk towards you kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So you can add that flexibility of, this is what my army's like and this is what I love about them. Because Iron Hands aren't going to run away. They're just going to, trug forward. If you run at me, fuck you, I'm going to run back at you kind of thing, right? Or be tactical, Space or Ultramarines, and be like, haha, I'm going to jump into the terrain and then come at you, right? Like,
Yeah.
So there's all that different fluff that you can add to it. So it all depends how you look at it. You can just look at it as one extra step that's just going to bog the game down, or you can look at it as fluff wise, or you can look at it as a tactical strategy. If you just all you want is gameplay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
No, for sure.
I can't honestly see it bogging the game down either.
Well,
Considering now we're just at 3 phases. You got movement, shooting, and assault. And in between those layers, you have the reactions, right? They've eliminated the psychic phase where psychic powers are wrapped into actual phases. They sound, sound kind of cool. I won't lie.
they're just subtle, yeah.
They're subtle,
Yeah,
but
they say
though.
when they're used, pretty much,
Yeah,
right?
I'm
Yeah.
happy they're kind of gone, and I know there's some 1,000 Sun players out there that are a little bit upset, but for what Psychic Phase was, it was very much just a one-sided point in the game that you could capitalize, and there really wasn't much extra to it, right? Like I have a feeling these new powers, when they start to come out, there will be some really cool fluff interactions. Like I can just see a few different things coming down, right? It's just I'm going into it with my expectations high, but also I think my mind is obviously going to be open to all the changes because I want to see Heresy progress.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see it hit
For
that
sure.
next level.
100%.
This is what we've been waiting for.
100%. I mean, just the excitement in this podcast that we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're hooting and hollering already, and we haven't even played with anything.
No.
So
I haven't touched anything since last year of October or November or something. So
there you go. I got to finish up some bases, Woohoo! But yeah, it's gonna be exciting times, that's for sure. With this, all these new rules and I mean, there's still stuff that's still the same as it was before, which is nice because we know that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then you add in this new flavor to the game, and now it's a new game again, right? Which I think is really, really cool. And then just the excitement of seeing, like we were saying before, and like how Dan expressed with the armies. Like, you're going to see different, a guy's going to play and build a different Ultramarine army than I am going to play. And next, you have like 10 Ultramarine players because they're so good, right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But they're all different, which is cool. And as to point out to Bill, what Bill is saying, like slowing down the game. After watching that YouTube video there, with the increase of the movement stat, those armies are closing in on each other fast.
Yeah.
Really fast. So it's going to get really hairy real quick. So
oh yeah, I noticed too, because night fighting's on a 2+ now, and it goes 2 turns.
Yeah,
potentially.
That's crazy.
And night fighting, it's got I think it's the old 6th edition rule where you can only see 24 inches or something. Yeah, you can only see 24 inches. You can't shoot past that, and I think there was something about your leadership. But
I thought it was just a minus to hit.
Oh, was it? I thought it was just you couldn't see past a certain distance. I don't know.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but
I'll have to rewatch it, or maybe we'll just have to wait for the rules. But the night fighting, I think it made it a lot better because a lot of guys were just moving anyways.
Well,
so
you're getting away from that turn 1 alpha strike or the beta
Yeah.
strike, right? And I think that's a huge thing. Not only just for the guys who just want to run gun lines, but for the guys who want to run combat armies. If that's the case, where turn 1 on each side is actually kind of nulled out, I think combat is going to be very much on par with shooting. And we know how powerful shooting can be, especially coming from Heresy 1.0. Shooting is pretty much like the big dog in the game, in my personal opinion. And if you can have combat and shooting more of an even playing field, that'd be pretty legit. I know it's been a fine pendulum balancing act throughout all the editions of 40k, right? 3rd was hardcore shooting, 4th was combat, then shooting back and forth, focus firing, and all sorts of stuff. But it does sound very much like this is going to be very balanced in terms of Yeah, shooting in combat, especially with the reactions.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
Yeah. Super stoked. Super stoked. That was basically what we wanted to talk about tonight. Guerilla Miniature Games. That's the guy who was putting on the video. They did that rulebook review, like we said. Then the Let's Play Horus Heresy game. I highly recommend checking it out. It'll definitely shed a little bit of insight into what to expect, and you might, be able to get those hamsters running a little bit quicker than your friends. So when it's actually go time, you're ready. I've got like 30 Marines to throw a bunch of chain blades on. Yeah, chain bayonets. I'm ready.
Chain bayonets. Yes.
It's kind of funny because like after you're like, oh yeah, I want to do a video a podcast, watch this video, kind of get it all down. And I was like, okay, and then I was like looking for other videos for other people's. Yeah. He's the only one. So I don't know if he's breaking rules or if he's the only one who's got the balls to do it. I don't know, because there's guys that have like reviews, but it's like a 10-minute video and they go, yeah, okay, it's good, I like it, and that's it, right? Yeah. Or I didn't like this, but it wasn't like he literally goes through the book, flips it, and you can like see everything. If you want, he doesn't go through every single page, but you could pause it. I was pausing it and going like, oh, they slightly changed this from the leak I saw, right, or whatever. And so I don't know.
Well, it's true.
He did a pretty good thing because obviously it's getting everything going.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's been up for 3 days, so I don't know.
Unless it's just that time. Unless it's
like,
time,
like around the corner, pretty much.
Yeah. I know. What's his name? What's this guy? Zorb. Him and the guys from Broadsword Gaming, those guys have been like plotting this massive, with the new rules and box sets. They've had it for a couple of months. They have this like wicked 10-day campaign they just ended up filming and getting all ready to go, and then help make this like massive display at Warhammer World. And I was like, holy, like how soon are these guys getting these boxes, man? Like, it's just wild. I'm super pumped. The boxes have been out for a while in the wild, and I can't wait. I'm gonna order too. So
nice.
I was kind of up in the air about the box, but then after seeing it, and I'm just kind of like, fuck, I'll probably just end up buying it.
The value inside the box, though, honestly, like let's just break the box down. You get your rule book, which is, we know how much big rule books are. They're usually $65 to $70, right? So it's retail. I think it's retail $360 from what they were saying. So we're at $290. If we're going on what retail shit is right now, $65 is for like a generic tax squad.
This is all Canadian.
This is Canadian, yeah. This is Canadian. Not if it was Australian dollars, you may as well just second mortgage on your house. Sorry, Mark. Sorry. But so there's what you got 4 tax squads in there, so that's 130. That's 260 already. So now you have $30 owing. So there's one character. A second character is probably $30. So now you're up saving $30. You've got the Spartan and Contemptor, and still have 10 Cataphracti Terminators. So the Cataphracti Terminators were 80 a piece on the web store back in the day. So you're at 30. You're going to be at 180, like 210. Contemptors around the $70 mark. So and then whatever Spartan's going to go for, which on Forge World I think it's $200. So like you're saving already $400 if you had to piecemeal it all together. It's a pretty good value.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually it's probably one of the best box sets they're going to be dropping, in all honesty.
Yeah, there's been a couple of videos out there talking about that and comparing it to other box sets that have come out, the Necromunda. The Ash Waste or whatever.
Yeah.
What a waste of a box.
Bang for your buck. This is probably the best, as Bill said.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if you want to go bang for your buck, that Necromunda Ash Waste box was probably like, a little pellet gun, and this is like the fucking howitzer. In all honesty, it's just it looks awesome. I can't wait. If you think that we hit the nail on the head with the Ultramarines, let us know in the comments. If you think we're full of shit, let us know. You know, if you want Dan to help you make army lists so you too can kick the shit out of your friends, let us know. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to doing like deep dive once Heresy drops. It's gonna be big for us. We're gonna be analyzing it from the whole spectrum of gameplay, everything from, you know, the narrative lore all the way to more stronger and harder lists, but anything and everything I know I definitely want to get my teeth into and talk about. So
I just can't wait to see which one of you two goes into Bobby G's graces and decides to shed their traitor ways away and join the Ultramarines in their just cause.
Blue glory.
Yeah. What about playing traitor Ultramarines?
Don't even go there. You've attempted. You've attempted.
Oh man, awesome.
But you know, honestly though, with the Ultramarines, you know, you guys have been, you know, making them look pretty good, almost as good as like Custodes back in the day. But the more people play it, I can't wait to see what they're going to paint them up like, how they're going to paint them up as well, in the hobby aspect of things, right? So, because you know, I'm currently the only Ultramarine player.
It's true.
Here, so it'll be interesting to see other players. And we gotta give, you know, Darren some props too. Back in the day,
that's true. Darren's OG Ultramarine player, the Tetrarch of Ultramar. Do I dare say? And he's probably he's probably in his chair going. Mm-hmm.
He's like, Bobby G. I'm Calgar. You know.
Yeah, he's nodding. He fucking writes. So awesome. Well, yeah. Let us know what you think about the episode in the comments, guys. Hit us up as always. We like hearing from you, and we'll definitely catch up with you guys next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Trident Wargaming. Build it, paint it, play it.